Booker turns, shoots, fires. Shot won't go. Tucker the rebound. And that'll do it. It's over. The Bucks have done it. The long wait has ended. After a half century, the Milwaukee Bucks are NBA champions once again.
This is nothing but that sports talk.
Yeah, Milwaukee, they are the 2021 NBA champions. As I walk you to this episode, nothing but that sports talk. And Lila, welcome back to the show for the first time in nearly a year. And last time you were a special guest on my show. While we did have the NBA, there was a lot of political stuff going on. But luckily, a year later, both of them got straightened out, well, to a certain extent. Right now, we can finally get to sports talk, and we can finally get into you attend a Space Jam related event. But before we get to the NBA Finals, let's just talk about what you've been up to these past several months.
Oh my goodness.
What's Entertainment Publicist related topics?
Well, since the last NBA championship, the Los Angeles Lakers did win the championship coming out of the bubble. I think they handled the quarantine and all the challenges of the pandemic, everything happening with Black Lives Matter. I think the athletes handled it well. There was a lot of criticism, fans just being spoiled, but I'm happy for especially Kyle Kuzma. He's an amazing athlete. He is amazing to work with. So it's been really fun seeing him also venture out into fashion. And then these past couple of months, also getting the Olympians ready for the team trials. So I have Olympic athletes in fencing, I have in track and field, I have in gymnastics. And so it's just been, topsy-turvy, trying to figure out who could adjust to the Olympics being postponed. And for some athletes, they were not able to pull it off, but they're still amazing athletes. There's still a lot more Olympic caliber sports heading into world championships this year. And then I'll be going right into the Winter Olympics, which are in February. This is the first time we've actually had an Olympics so close together. It's usually every 2 years between winter and summer. We're going to go right out of Paralympics, getting right back ready for the Winter Games in Beijing 2022. So it's a lot on my plate. I love the challenge. I'm ready to go, and we're still blending a lot of Hollywood and sports.
Exactly. And I know you're excited to finally get to go back to doing everything you love down there in LA.
Yes, everything's open. That means a lot more red carpet events, a lot more corporate functions. And for me, that always means networking, taking time to reconnect with the media. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, I haven't really had a chance to do too much in-person coverage. It's all the stuff I've been doing is literally right here. I mean, I managed to get some Zoom calls to the WNBA Finals and also the USA women's basketball team that was literally announced. I mean, of course, the All-Star game between the team WNBA, which they managed to win against USA. Well, at the same time, it's nice that the actual WNBA players, well, not that the USA women's basketball players aren't, actually got the win. But for the same time, the USA women's side, they kind of had to take some time to gel. I mean, they lost a very close exhibition game not too long ago, but they did have a good record. So, not to mention that loss against Oregon. I forgot to mention that, but yeah, USA women's.
I love USA women's basketball. It's so exciting. I love that a lot more fans were showing support for women's sports. Those women, especially again, when it comes to Black Lives Matter, they led the way. They really spoke up as mothers, as sisters, as girlfriends and wives, just as part of the Black community and family. I was so proud of them for leading the way and so thankful for the men's side, the NBA, really supporting our sisters in the WNBA. So I think athletes are starting to find their voice. I'm happy for them. And I'm excited to see USA women's basketball with, a really bigger fan base this time, a lot more stars. I'm excited just to see who will emerge as a star, some new emerging talent. So I'm excited for them all.
Not to mention we have a 3-on-3 USA basketball team together too.
I love that. I love that.
Ball style into Japan, even though there's no fans allowed, but that is something to enjoy.
We will be at home cheering. They will be able to feel our energy through social media, and we're just going to be cheering loud for them, and hopefully they can hear us all the way in Tokyo.
Yeah, I know. Well, there are a lot of positives happening. I mentioned USA's basketball struggles, there's also the negativity that's been going on as Sha'Carri Richardson. She can't participate in the Olympics because of that whole drug, whatever nonsense. That is not something to
Well, Sha'Carri Richardson is definitely a young talent. She's got a lot more left. I'm excited to see what she will do at World Championships. So World Championships for track and field is every other year. And so if she is who we think she is, she will do exceedingly well. She'll be rested. That's a plus. But the rules are what they are. A lot of athletes would love to use cannabis for their pain, for a lot of their rehabs, for a lot of the anxiety it just takes to be an athlete. I think USA Track and Field, USATF made a good decision in not allowing her to be a part of the relay, because you just don't want anything like that coming up during the games, because USA Women's 4x1, the 400-meter relay is expected to win a gold medal. And you don't want anything that's going to taint that or overshadow that. It's usually a very close race between us and Team Jamaica. We usually blow them out the water, but that you never know, anything can happen. Dropping the baton. It's just a very exhilarating and dramatic race within itself. And we don't need any more controversy. We do want clean athletes. And so hopefully she'll take this time to really just understand what it means to be a professional athlete. Unfortunately, a lot of athletes coming out of college they don't have a lot of guidance to help them make that adjustment. So with Sha'Carri Richardson, I wish her well. I'm excited to see her in World Championship on the Diamond League. She's bringing a lot of excitement back to the sport. And I really hope fans stick with her, but also cheer on our other women such as Gabby Thomas, Allison Felix, Sydney McLaughlin, just amazing talent, really good role models. And that's what's most important to me.
Yeah, this Olympics is going to be completely different. I mean, you're not going to have fans, and it's like literally a year longer than what it's supposed to be. Not under the 4-year format, which means after this year, you're only going to get 3 years of no Olympic. Well, unless you take out the Women's Olympics, Winter Olympics, you're only going to get like 3 years before the next Olympics. And well, that's not sitting right with me. This is going to be completely.
No, it's going to be fun because somebody like Simone Biles is like, maybe I should come back. It's not that much. 4 years seems like a very long time. You'll usually see after an athlete wins an event, they'll say, so what are you going to do? Are you coming back for Paris 2024? And the athletes are like, I'm trying to get out of these games. But I think now that it's kind of cut up, the athletes see it. It's like, I think I can go another quad before these Olympic, the Paralympic quad. So I think it's going to actually encourage more athletes to come back now that they see it's a shorter window. But 4 years seems like such a long time as opposed to, 2.5 years, 3 years for games. I think you're going to see a lot more returning athletes. And USA Swimming has a lot of young talent. Katie Ledecky is not going anywhere. I mean, we got a lot of young college athletes that are finally able to make money from the name, image, and likeness that are going to be entering the Olympic space. And I think, they're going to really be two-time athletes. You want those 2-3-time Olympians to be able to come back. That way they make a name for themselves and they get more endorsement deals and things like that. So I think this is could be a positive thing. They don't have to wait so long because anything can happen. Injuries happen in between. So you kind of want to keep that Olympic momentum going. As long as you stay in good health, they should be able to make another quad.
Not to mention there's so much sports to cover. It's not just the basketballs that's going on. It's literally so much sports to watch in so little time.
That's what
I know. It's exciting. I know.
When I'm usually in the Olympic city, I love it for the simple fact, like everybody's all about the Olympics. Whereas back home in the States, they're focused on other things. When you're in the Olympic host city, you can go to any restaurant, bar, hotel, shopping mall. The games are on, all channels, all day, and I'm just immersed in it. I watch everything from synchronized swimming. I watch fencing. I watch equestrian, kayaking. When I say I'm a sports agent, entertainment publicist, I mean that I love sport. I do not discriminate. I will cheer on cricket, lacrosse, water polo. I love it all. I truly am a sports fan, but I really love working as a sports agent.
Yeah, you get to see so much going on, including the one-sided women's basketball team. Like literally, ever since the 1996 team, I'm glad the 1996 team came together during the All-Star break or whatever break that was. because they really shared a story about how dominant they were, and they paved the way for the dominant USA women's basketball teams that we see in later seasons, led by Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi. And when I'm watching the score, it's like everything's completely one side. You know why? They bring it all the time.
They do, and they're super competitive, and they have something to say, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen with them. I think they're going to come back home superstars. I think everyone's starting to have a newfound respect for the women's basketball team, and I hope that funnels over into more opportunities in the WNBA. I hope to see these women gain more endorsement deals, and I think the fans are going to really like what they see, especially because maybe USA men's basketball may not get that gold medal. It's not guaranteed. Other nations have become much stronger. So nothing's guaranteed like it used to be. We used to know USA men's basketball was going to win a gold medal. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think our women's absolutely will win a gold medal.
I don't know. I mean, because the men's side, they're still completely stacked. I mean, okay, maybe the bench has some adjustments to worry about, but the starters, they're still stacked. You still got Kevin Durant. You still got Dame Time, Damian Lillard. You still got, of course, the two guys from the championship Milwaukee Bucks squad. And of course,
but they cannot sleep. They cannot take it for granted. They cannot act like they are just the strongest on the court anymore. They have to really wake up and realize that other nations have become much stronger. So hopefully they're taking it seriously. And I don't know. I think they will win a gold medal. I think it'll be USA men's and women will win a gold medal. But it's not going to come easy. It's definitely not going to come easy.
Yeah, I mean, is it really not? Because in past years, think about it, for the men's side, they've only had like, 2 or 3 close games in total in the past several seasons where they won the Olympics. I remember back in 2008, which was 2008, which was highlighted by the late Kobe Bryant, God rest his soul. Their games were completely one-sided. Only Paul and Marc Gasol's Spain gave it their all up until they only lost by 10 points. And then, of course, the 2016, I remember there was one close game where the USA had to fight to win. So, yeah, if that doesn't tell you that everything is bound to end, like how LeBron's undefeated streak in the first round ended in this year's playoffs, then I don't know what to tell you.
You're absolutely right on that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what are your impressions about the NBA playoffs in 2021 now that it's legit come to an end with Milwaukee taking the crown?
I'm excited. I love to see smaller markets win. I love to see new players emerge. I love to see young talent carry their team. It's exciting. And then we also see that the NBA is expanding to Africa, and now we see why. There's definitely some talent that we can pull from Nigeria, as we see. But I'm excited to see smaller markets win. I know the NBA may not like it. It makes more money for them when there's an LA that's winning. But I love to see it evenly spread. And it's like one of those things, it's like, don't underestimate up-and-coming talent. And yeah, I'm just excited that it's going to bring some new energy to these sports. And, I'm just really watching my Lakers right now. I'm just really want to see some changes.
I know you're upset at the Lakers. They got bounced in the first round, but you got to keep it without LeBron for 2 months.
I did feel for Chris Paul, though. I really wanted it for him. I really do. But there's going to be a lot of changes in the offseason. Nobody's safe. And so we'll see how it all rolls out. But I'm excited for the Milwaukee Bucks. I know their fans are just shocked and can't believe it right now. So I just love to see these type of teams that no one expected to win. I just love to see them come out on top. I just think it brings more diversity to the sport, and it makes it seem more fair. And nobody likes to see just the same teams winning over and over again, because there's so much talent there. And so I watch the draft now knowing that these athletes that are being drafted can be a contribution to their teams in a few years. Even they can make great strides in the league, and there's enough money, there's enough fans, there's enough endorsement deals to go around for everybody. So I think everybody can win. I'm just really, really positive about that, because it's all sports and games at the end of the day. And so I love to see new challenges arise. I love to see fans talking about other athletes as opposed to just your mainstream stars all the time. So yeah, I think it's a good thing to see the Milwaukee Bucks pull it off.
Yeah, it's a good thing. You know what? The fans outside, the whole reaction that happened, it was just exciting as the New York Knicks winning game 2. I can't believe I'm actually being on the air. I mean, I just wish that it was the Brooklyn Nets or the New York Knicks, speaking of. But you know what? It was still a fun playoffs to watch. I mean,
it was very exciting. It was very exciting, and we didn't know that the Clippers were going to do something. It was just a lot of people that were like, they were starting to see, like their eyes was on the prize. They're like, this might happen. There was some letdown, but it got so close for so many teams. And that's what I would just really love to see, is that the fans are like, wait a minute, we might be able to win this. And so there's always next year.
Exactly. So much unpredictability that happened in this year's playoffs. I mean, we kind of expected Brooklyn to make it to the finals, but they were taken out in Game 7 by a Milwaukee Bucks team that was really hungry from the get-go, which that brought a lot of turns into my teams. And I know, well, if the Lakers were not past the first round, it was worse for the injuries, they would have probably been the one facing Milwaukee. But you know what? I'm happy for Chris Paul that he got his finals appearance. Now, let's see what happens. Let's see if he can continue that momentum into next year. Whether he stays with the Phoenix Suns or go to a different team, we'll see.
Right.
Now that we have an off season.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I saw you attend a Space Jam event. Want to talk about that a little bit?
So, the Space Jam premiere, Warner Brothers put on the actual premiere, and that was a lot of fun. You had a lot of influencers attend. The movie overall is really, really good. I think they did a really good job. A lot of people agree. So it's not just, a few people like it here or there. A lot of people were actually impressed with the sequel. And then there was a cast party for a lot of the younger talent that couldn't make the premiere. And so LeBron James hosted that, a cast premiere party in Hollywood. I think overall the marketing for the movie was great. You never know, because now that the people that were kids when Space Jam first came out are now adults. They have their own kids now. And so there's always kind of like a chance or a risk that there could be a disconnect and it just may not add up. But I think LeBron James was the perfect person for it. I think he, being his own media empire, he's slated to make $1 billion by the end of this year, so they say, and so they're predicting. I think LeBron James is an excellent role model. He's kept such a clean-cut, professional, staying out of trouble career, no family drama. He's very outspoken. He advocates on behalf of his people in the community. He really does a lot of work with the youth. So if anybody could remake Space Jam, I think it is LeBron James. I encourage everybody to go out, have some good family fun. He really put a lot into this movie, telling a story that hopefully a lot of families can relate to. And I love to see these characters come back, and I just think it's really good to keep, a lot of that old nostalgia for the new generation. It's a great way to bridge the gap between generations. So LeBron, Zendaya, and all the voiceover talent in the movie, I think they did exceptionally well. I think if you haven't seen it yet, I think those that see it will be pleasantly impressed about the story and how it all came together. Well, but LeBron's amazing, and I have nothing but love for that brother. I mean, his entourage, his professional management team, they're just somebody I look up to in the industry. I think I've been doing sports management a little bit longer than some of the guys over there. But they definitely have a mega superstar talent in managing LeBron James among other athletes and absorbing other sports agents. So I am so happy for them. I love to see more Black people working behind the scenes in sports. And so for Rich Paul and Maverick over there, Clutch Sports, I just think what they're doing is so amazing. And they're just doing cool things. Like they have a whole documentary with Dominique Dawes, and for talking about gymnastics and what it's really like for some of these young athletes, all the anxiety and pressure that they have to go through. And I'm like, thank you. Somebody finally tells these stories. And so LeBron James knows what he's doing. I just support these people. I don't see them as competition. I see it as community.
Exactly. And you know what? When I watched Space Jam 1, I was really intrigued by the way they designed that back then. It was like, maybe let's see what they do with Space Jam 2. And I also love the buildup that they did back then where like, because Looney Tunes didn't know how to play basketball, well, let's just try to drag Michael Jordan from the real world now that he's retired. And that scene was just so hilarious. And also the fact that because the Goon Squad didn't know anything about basketball, let's just suck the power out of some pro athletes. They did it with Patrick Ewing, Muggsy Bogues, and Charles Barkley. Oh man, that was just so funny. And it also
identity theft. No comment on that. That's actually a thing in real life, cultural appropriation. So it was touching on a lot of undertones as well. But no, I love sports movies. I think sports movies really stand the test of time, from Remember the Titans. I also work with an actor by the name of Jay Reeves, who was in a Disney Plus movie called Safety, telling the story, a real life story. That's why I love working with athletes, because so many come from so many different backgrounds. And so when you learn a lot more about how they overcame obstacles, or how some people may have counted them out or doubted them, and then they triumph. I think those are stories that hopefully the average everyday person and family can learn from. So I love sports story. It's so relatable. And I love athletes getting out there telling their stories, whether it's through books, TV shows, or movies.
Exactly. That's what it's all about. The fact that LeBron James continued the Looney Tunes tradition that we got when we were literally toddler. That's something, because it's LeBron James.
His childhood dream come true. I'm just happy for him.
Yeah, and I'm happy that we got to see some more Looney Tunes content as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, on to the WNBA. What are your impressions about the way the WNBA came back and they handled the 25th year anniversary?
Oh, no, I think it's great. I think I would love to see the WNBA expand a little bit more, but no, this is amazing. I think they're making a lot of strides. I think, like I said, a lot of the young talent are starting to step up. We're starting to see a lot more fan participation and getting engaged with the game. We're seeing a lot more support of, like I said, fans coming out. So I think they have a lot to celebrate. I think there's still a lot more that needs to be done, especially when it comes to pay equality. I would love to see them get way more TV time. I would love to see them get way more sponsorship. But I think under the new direction that they're going, they're headed in the right place. I think as long as they continue to listen to their athletes about how to improve the sport, as long as they continue to engage fans and really keep the momentum going, I think they've accomplished so much. I think they still have a long way to go in terms of really satisfying and making sure that all parties involved are happy and satisfied. But other than that, yeah, I'm happy, and I hope to see more expansions. I hope to see more teams. But so far, so good. I'm very happy the way things are rolling out. Sports are very important, and I'm just happy to see a lot of more athletes not being afraid to speak out. I love to see how the talent that has since retired has gone on to do other things, taking their popularity from the WNBA, going on to do sports commentary, some becoming coaches, some going on to the collegiate level and becoming coaches there. I just love to see it. And so, like I said, there's enough room for everyone to be successful. So congratulations to them. And like I said, hopefully we'll start to see more cities with more teams.
They did talk about having more cities and more teams, like Charlotte and Houston. They're trying to bring some teams over there too. And they also talk about the possibility of Oakland having a team there. That would be good for revenue and fan engagement, because let's face it, throughout the years, they've had a tough time drawing crowds. I mean, the game I went to with the Liberty and the Dream, that's excusable because, we were only allowed to have a limited amount of fans at the time. But come on, like before COVID happened, they had a tough time filling up the entire seats in WNBA games. Yeah,
and that just comes with marketing too. They can't market it like it's the NBA. They really have to interact with young girls. A lot of families have daughters, and they want to ensure that their daughters can do anything they put their mind to. It is a gateway to college, playing sports, making it to the professional level. I think as long as they continue to do community outreach, they will grow a fan base. But we have to start making it seem like this is a lesser version of basketball, and really understand the athleticism that these women contribute to sports, and that they undergo just as much training, rehabbing, mental strategy, mental fortitude, and really putting themselves into the game. And they are stars within their own right. So I think as long as they continue to engage the youth, especially focusing on young girls and letting them know that you can do this too. And then also, of course, I'm going to focus on the business behind the sports. You can go and be coaches. You can be team owners one day. You can work in the front office. You can work on the marketing team. You can work on the community relations side. I think there's so much growth potential. And so if you want to do it, there should be space and opportunity for those that are extremely determined to get the job done. So I love the entertainment side of it. And like I said, hopefully they really just give this sport some time to breathe and grow. And I think we're here where it's fully matriculated. And I believe it was Candace Parker is on the cover of NBA
Candace
2K.
Parker,
Stuff like that. It's like, okay, I didn't realize that there's never been a woman. You just kind of take it for granted, like, wow, that's huge. And she's the perfect person for it. I didn't even realize that was a thing. And then when it happens, you're just like, we're making strides, but still, like I said, endorsement deals, I hope more endorsements come to our sisters in the WNBA. It's just, that's exciting though. So I'm not gonna just relish on that. I just have to take a step back to be like, wow, didn't even realize that wasn't a thing. And I think she's the perfect person for it. And I'm so happy for her, and much respect. I give all the respect to women athletes. They play sometimes when nobody's even watching. So congratulations to Candace Parker. And I hope to see more women on the cover of NBA 2K and other sports games in the future.
It's funny
exciting.
It's funny to bring that up because when I spoke to Dawn Staley and Lisa Leslie about Candace Parker being on the cover, she was impressed by the fact that Candace Parker, she's a good role model for that, and she talked about how the people that play 2K, that inspires them to want to be the next Damian Lillard or whatever. And then, well, even though she mistakenly said why 2K instead of NBA 2K, I'm gonna let that slide because I mean, what you expect? Lisa Leslie probably not into like that. But Dawn Staley, if you watch the interview, she was like, why 2K? Why only one woman? Why the men have like multiple males on the cover of
that's so funny.
25-year anniversary.
She broke through, and now that's the expectation, and we expect to see more women on the cover.
I mean, they could have easily given the WNBA their own personal 2K game, but at the same time, I get that they put it in NBA format just to get people interested in the WNBA. People get interested like me and you that been interested in the WNBA ever since it first came out or in the 2000s or whatever. Yeah,
they have to test a lot of things out, and fans can say, oh, we want these things, but you're gonna have to put your money where your mouth is. So when they do present it, I think they will have some numbers and statistics to show that these covers actually do make a difference, and it does increase sales. So hopefully, once they test it out and they see some positive feedback, I think that's what will encourage more opportunities in the future.
And hopefully we get that same stuff. Hopefully we get that same stuff that you just said when the NBA had their 75th year anniversary season coming up, because I expect big things to happen right there.
It's going to be wild. And I think Adam Silver, the commissioner, like I said, he's someone that pays attention to the athletes. He really engages with them. He figures out what they want, and he tries his best to deliver, which it really shows. It really actually works. So I'm excited to see a lot of amazing events around that. I mean, NBA Entertainment, that whole department is amazing. They do really good work because they're really in tune with their players. They're in tune with the fans. They really do deliver. And so I'm excited. And now you have a re-engaged fan base with Phoenix Suns fans, Milwaukee Bucks, even some Clipper fans are excited because they kind of look like they were going to do something. And so I'm thinking, like, if you can just really just give the people what they want, pay attention to the positive fans, the ones that are giving positive feedback, the ones that really do love the sport, not just yelling at athletes, especially during a pandemic, but really showing love. If you can focus on what the fans love as opposed to all the other stuff, like all the other negativity, I think that the NBA will do extremely well on their 75th anniversary. I think it'll be fun for everybody. I think to bring back a lot of the living legends that are still involved, and re-engaging them as well. And they continue on their legacy and hopefully open up more opportunities for them as well. Like a Spencer Haywood, for example, really good friend to my agency. He's amazing. Learned so much from working with him and how to manage and work with the next generation by taking advice from the elders. People like him, gold medalist, 1968 games, who broke through on the early entry rule so they could go from high school to the pros. People like Spencer Haywood, I love to see how he continues to be a legend in the WNBA. I mean, but the NBA basketball for sure.
Yeah, I know I'm kind of like going back and forth with the NBA, WNBA, but you're saying so many amazing stuff. Especially, we forgot to touch up on the WNBA athletes that were part of the Space Jam movie. The way Nico Gumic and Diana Taurasi look at the movie, it's just so cartoony. I mean, yeah, it's a cartoon movie, so of course they had to do some kind of animation with those characters. Not to mention Nico Gumic did an event that involves the release of Space Jam, and then I just saw on the social media that Angel McCaughtry is planning to get younger kids into the movie and an event at some point in the near future. So yeah, WNBA is doing.
Yeah, the Gumake sisters are amazing. Angel McCaughtry they're just such amazing ambassadors for the sport, and those are the things that are going to make sure that the next generation continues to get involved. I think sports is just so healthy for young people to stay involved. And so hopefully it can take them far. It can take them to college. It can help them earn income in the future. But most importantly to me is more about health and mental strength. And so I think they're amazing role models. I love to see the amazing things that they're doing beyond basketball, whether it's getting into sports commentating, whether it's working in the front office, like I said, whether it's, becoming themselves coaches and, again, re-engaging the next generation. I just love the fact that they're taking control of their careers, especially Sheena and Gumake. I think, that they're amazing role models. I think just watching their entire career, even Elisa Leslie, the things she's been able to do beyond the sport, that's showing to me very smart when it comes to business and really taking their careers seriously. And it showed that they had a strategy and they used their platforms well. That is so very important, that they didn't waste the opportunity.
Exactly. You have to bet on women in sports and everything else that we just talked about. And I can't wait to see how it grows up here. All right, Lila, thank you for stopping by, and I appreciate you taking the time to be a special guest on my show again after literally a long wait.
Thank you for having me. I love speaking of the Olympics. I love women's sports. And this is a very exciting time of the year.
And to all the balls out there, get your head in the game and enjoy the Olympics.